Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
You suck! Dun, 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 dun.
Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows.
All right. Hello, my babies. Welcome to another exciting episode of So Be It. I'm your humble host, Cyrus, here to titillate your audio holes one episode at a time. And no, it is not hosted by a wacko or a convicted felon or serial killer. No. The views and expressions on So Be It do not reflect those of YouTube, any YouTube channel, any YouTube radio station, any kind of internet radio station, or terrestrial radio station for that matter. However, they do reflect those of the haterade drinking Shiba monkeys. And now, my babies, testing 1, 2, 3. Or if I had it my way, I would be hijacking the school PA system and would go on every single morning for at least the next few weeks. Testes, 1, 2, 3, testes. And here's why. We, of course, have come into the absolutely awful and dreaded testing season. Yes, it's that time of year where all the teachers start stressing out. Bad moods are everywhere. Nobody wants to cooperate. Everybody just wants to set fire to the whole place and burn the sumbitch to the ground, along with all of those detestable, gnarly test booklets. And don't even get me started on the fucking Scantrons. Oh, man. You know, it's crazy to me, but looking back, I look back on every single testing season that I ever went through, as a kid. And, each year that you do it, each grade level you progress, they try to do it and make it where it gets harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And I mean, I know it's supposed to be that way, but at the same damn time, it's like, okay, what are you trying to prove here? Because all the teachers do, especially, it's even more true now than what it was about 15, 20 years ago. All teachers do now, I'm sad to say, is teach to the test. That's it. They teach you up and you're thinking, okay, maybe I'll get something out of this, okay, this is great, terrific. And all it is for you to be able to figure it out on a scratch sheet of paper and then bubble in on a Scantron and to tell people that you're worth something and that you're smart, you're learning. Like, no, absolutely not. And I mean, middle school, it was the same way. High school, even more so, especially with certain courses that had to have EOCT, end of course testing, which was completely different than a final exam. I'm sure there are kids out there who experience it nowadays. Probably the hardest one I ever took was, I was a junior in high school and it was economics. That one, there was a lot of stuff on there that my teacher, God bless him, he never really taught us or told us that much about. So, we were kind of left twisting in the wind just a little bit. And the pass rate for the economics EOCT, let's see, junior in high school, that was spring of 2006. So quite literally 13 years ago when I took it. And apparently, if I remember correctly, the pass rate was very, very low. The chances of getting an A were, almost impossible. B was rare. C was very common. and D pretty much was, and then F was apparently on the rise. I don't know the statistics now, because I've only been back in Cobb County for at least the Cobb County school system for about 6 months, so I don't really know the high school curriculum. But then, of course, when I got to be a senior and got to the end of my senior year, you had to take, the senior exit exam, and apparently, if you didn't pass that, you didn't graduate. And I'm of the mind of, well, that's what the final exams in their classes are for. If they don't pass those, that should speak for themselves. I mean, you have a whole other test devised to see if they can graduate. Like, what the hell? Like, what mushrooms did you take, when thinking that one up? I mean, whoever came up with that concept, I would love to just get in front of me just so I could, slap the piss out of them. Like, come on, what is the point? What does that achieve? I mean, yeah, you want to show like, oh yeah, the seniors, the senior exit exam to prove that they're ready to graduate and they're ready to move on to the next level. Well, if you're going to do that, then you might as well not have them do the final exam. I mean, come on, get the bullshit cobwebs out of your head. Ah, Davis, what's up? So anyway, that's when I was going through, elementary, middle, and high school, all the testing, all the teachers just basically taught it to it, and they referenced it throughout the year. You heard it, well, when you do this on the standardized test at the end of the year, and especially when you started hearing it in like September, you're like, oh my God, teach, blow it at your ass. I don't mean to sound derogatory or anything like that or rude or anything, but it's just, I'm speaking truth here. That's what I thought as a high schooler, and I know that's what the high schoolers think of it now. Sue me. Well, not really. But let's see. Davis, how are you? Well, I'm still kicking. I'm still alive. How about you? How you doing? So, now it's very interesting for me to see a different part of the spectrum, because for those of you who have been following, let's see, hold on. She said, my mom says she misses you and we're doing good. Excellent. Good. Oh, your mom said, oh, I miss your mom too. We're both all sweet, both listeners. Take that, YouTube. It only says one, but there's two. So anyway, I'm on the other end of a spectrum here because I'm, teaching special needs. I have a special needs classroom in a middle school, and to see the way that the testing is done here is obviously it's different, because when you're dealing with these kind of caliber of kids, obviously their intellectual levels are all over the place. You have kids that are way higher than others and then way below, and just they're everywhere. And so you really cannot test them all at once. It is pretty much impossible to do. And the lucky thing for us is that there's only 7 in the room, which, kind of makes it a little easier. So basically what we're having to do is test one by one and pretty much put the rest of the room on silent mode as much as we possibly can, turning the computers down, making sure they're not blasting anything, and they're not, obviously trying to get them not to talk at all it's really, it's difficult, but, for the kids' sake, I know for them, it's difficult because they don't understand. They don't understand fully what's going on. And, there has to be some leeway with that. You can't just be a complete hard ass and go, oh my God, you can't do that. Oh my God. No, you can't freak out all the time. You have to back up and take a step back and go, okay, let's just remember, guys, we're supposed to be quiet. It's quiet time. So, and our kids, they do great. Not gonna lie, they do terrific. And that's not me being biased because they're my kids. No, they do great. And their sections of their test are a lot smaller for, legal and all this other crap. I'm not going to go into extreme details of how the test is, but the sections are a lot smaller, and there's a lot fewer. And the one thing that they've done is the fact that the 6th and 7th graders for our room only test in 2 subjects, and then the 8th grader does 4. Because she's moving on, and we'll be going on to the high school level next year. So we did the 8th grader first, just because that was going to take the longest. And the cool thing that they've done, which I would expect no less, because if they didn't, I smell a lawsuit. They allow allowances in with taking the test. Like if a kid starts shutting down and just starts having a tantrum, doesn't really want to do it, and just whatever the reason may be, they say you can pause. And when the kid gets calmed down, they get composed, and they get back up and running again, we can pick it right back up where we left off. There's no, you have to contact an administrator and a test organization and all this other brouhaha. You could just stop and go, okay, we'll resume later. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Because, it's my first foray into special needs, so how the hell am I going to know? And we only started talking about it like a month ago. So, but, we've gotten through about halfway through the room as of tomorrow at the end, if we can get our child, Pepper, to get through all of his last section, because today was just a little bit of a doozy. Because it's kind of hard when he's in a rocking chair, and after a little while, he just, clunk. And you're like, oh, damn, he's asleep. And so, things get kind of tedious. And I don't blame the kid. Just sitting there listening and making sure, like trying to keep him awake and listening to the droning and the questions, the same type of questions over and over and over and over again. I started getting drowsy. And I'm like, I feel you, kid. I do. And keeping him awake is a chore. And for obvious reasons, you can't bring over, like building blocks or Legos or something to keep him occupied, because it makes too much noise and he'll get distracted. So you have really no other choice but to just sit there and just try and hope desperately that, he comes out of it, he gets snapped out of it, and you're like, ugh, let's just get through this. Come on, dude. So, but, we made it through the one, and tomorrow, after our morning field trip to the Corral of Golden, woohoo! We're going to attempt the second part, which that one's going to be even more fun. That's going to be fantastic. So, that's going to be very, very fun, because let's just say it deals with math. So yeah, that's going to be very, 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 very entertaining. And so we'll see how that goes for sure. But my kid, he did pretty good. He got through it. He kind of turned into a little bit of a pain in the ass at the end of his session yesterday. So, it goes with the territory. And, he did very well, considering all the crap we were putting him through, and just him just having to sit there and listen to all this crap. I don't know. For lack of a better term, he did good. So a lot better than I predicted, especially because over the weekend, he wasn't with, his usual parental figure. He was with Dada. And whenever that happens, things tend to go south very quickly. It goes south. And so to get him through as quickly as we did, miracle. Nothing short of a miracle. So tomorrow is Pepper Part 2. And then we're going to move on to the last 7th grader that we have, and then we're going to do the 6th grader last. So it's been a roller coaster of a ride, and by the time we reach the end of this road, we're going to be we're going to be done. The end of May cannot get here quick enough. It could absolutely not get here quick enough. And like I said, kind of alluded to at the very beginning of this broadcast, they put too much emphasis on this testing crap. You know, they don't teach enough just, you know, so you know things. You know, just, you know, teach the way the way things are supposed to be, and not teach because that's how it is and that's how you figure it out for a standardized test. No. And, you know, I will say this. One thing that I saw recently on one of my little news things was they kind of did this little small report on a school in Japan, and it's a boarding school. And what they do, and no, it's not like military salute and all that BS. No, what they do is at the end of every day, especially at the end of the week being, you know, the most vital, they make the kids clean the school. You know, the kids, they get the janitorial supply. They have no janitors. I'm trying to remember if they have daytime staff for like when classes are going on and everything like that. I think they do that. But for the most part in the afternoon, no, it's the kids. They get out all the janitorial supplies. They vacuum, they mop, they clean the tables, they wipe stuff down. They do it all. And the school does that, teaching the kids life skills. And they do a bunch of other things too. They do, you know, like outside, like gardening and lawn maintenance, that kind of stuff, and, you know, real life skills. And they have these kids start learning it from a very young age. So by the time that they're, you know, my age, 30, they're pretty much they're completely self-sufficient by their early to mid 20s at the latest. So, you know, a lot of the kids here that are in their early to mid 20s, they probably can't even jump start a car, you know, help somebody jump a car if the battery's dead, change a tire, locate the oil filter, change spark plugs, find spark plugs and all that crap, which, I mean, I know on cars today, you know, especially the new ones, everything is pretty much electronic, so you don't really mess with any of that anymore. But if you had to, no one would be able to find it. Nobody knows anymore, just about. So it's different. And so I kind of went off on a little tangent, not really going along with testing, but it's like, if you're going to test and teach to test and everything, do it on life skills, do it on stuff that's like, you know, survival. Do it for that, you know? I'm not saying like test on a cooking class. We want to test you to see if you can bake a croissant. No. Screw that. Do it for, you know, financing or, you know, budgeting, stuff like that. You know, life things that actually you have to do very well and keep on track to survive. Do it for that. You know, don't be, okay, we want to test you to see if you can find the square root of a hypotenuse triangle with a 90-degree angle divided by the square root of 144 times, you know, whatever. Forget all that white noise. You know, but that's just me. And I'm sure there's going to be people out there like, well, that opinion's stupid. Well, whatever. So be it. It's just how I think. It's how I feel. Test for the stuff that's actually important, you know? And I mean, yeah, testing for math and, you know, English and all that crap. Yeah, that's key too, because if you can't write or do any kind of basic number crunching or anything like that, well, you're pretty much screwed in life. But, you know, if you're going to make a big deal out of a test, well then, like I said, do it on the stuff that can actually seriously impact your life. You know, financing, insurance, mortgages, that kind of stuff. You know, credit cards, do's and don'ts, all the ins and outs, checking accounts, balancing checkbooks, car shopping, you know, what to look for, warning signs, all that kind of stuff. Buying a house, tips and tricks, how to get the best, mortgage rates, interest, all that stuff. Test for that. Teach, that's the stuff that we live on. So I don't know. Why don't you guys tell me what you think? I would ask Davis, but she bailed about 10 minutes ago, so no luck there. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think. The email account, pretty much cotwebs. So write into me, tell me what you think. CyrusSobeit@gmail.com, CyrusSoBeit@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. Or I am on Instagram. I do have a Sobeit account on there. Instagram message me and send me some stuff. Tell me what you think. Let me know. And so that's going to about do it for me tonight, babies. I'm going to keep it kind of short. So Daddy's feeling kind of tired tonight. It's already been a really long ass week and it's only been 3 days. So Daddy's going to go recharge his batteries for tomorrow, considering we have a field trip and then a testing right after. So wooey. So anyway, until then, good night, babies.
Cease to resist, giving my goodbye. Drive my car into the ocean.